So again, thank you all so much for joining us on your Saturday for our 2023 virtual open house for University College Dublin. We're really excited to spend this time with you. So I'm just going to quickly go over what to expect from this session, okay? So we're going to start off by meeting the UCD North America Global Center because we do have 6 staff members based in the US here to support you. And I want to make sure that you know who to go to and who to contact if you have any follow-up questions, okay? Then we're going to go into why Ireland, why Dublin, why UCD, okay? And then we're going to talk about applying to UCD because I know that's the question on top of everybody's mind. We're going to talk about admissions and the actual application process and scholarships and funding, of course, life at UCD and in Dublin. And you're going to hear from some of our current students who are from North America as well. And then we are going to talk about UCD academic programs leading into a breakout session with the UCD colleges. So depending on what you're interested in studying, you will have an opportunity to join that college's breakout session, which will either have a UCD staff member based on campus from the respective college and maybe some current students from the US there as well. So you can, they can answer your questions. At any time during this presentation, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. We have plenty of staff members here who will be answering throughout the presentation if we don't answer them live. So please feel free at any time to type questions in the chat, okay? All right, so first I'm just gonna ask Carly to introduce herself. As you can see on the map, we do have multiple regional representatives based here. And yeah, Carly, if you just want to say hello to everyone.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carly Horward. I am the Northeast Regional Representative. I cover that dark green area that you see there, and I am based in New York City. I'm also an alumna of the university. I went to UCD for my grad degree, graduating with a master's in drama and performance studies in 2019.
Perfect. And Kendall.
Hey everyone, I'm Kendall Hook. I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee, and I work with students in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast regions, so the yellow region on the map, and I also serve as our high school summer program manager. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. And Bridie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bridie Troy. I am based in Chicago, Illinois, and I represent students from the Midwest and Mountain regions, so this dark blue area of the map. I'm also the North America liaison for federal aid and funding, so if you have any questions about that, always happy to help. But thanks for joining us today.
Brilliant. Thank you all. And I didn't formally introduce myself at the beginning, so my name is Chelsea Weaver. I am based in Seattle, and I work with students and prospective students from the Western region of North America. Thank you so much for being here once again. And one more staff member we'd like to introduce you to, Jim.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Pearson. I'm the Senior Admissions Officer with the North America Global Center. I'm based in Chicagoland, and I work with every student that applies to UCD across North America. So if you submit an application, I will see it at some point, and I help the team here review your applications and get you a chance to come to this incredible university. So great to be here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jim. All right, maybe we can skip over that because I did my little intro. All right, we're going to start with why Ireland, because you can go to college anywhere in the world. You have so many resources these days. So why consider Ireland for college and to live generally? So we are now the only English-speaking country in the EU, which very much makes it a hub of Europe. In many ways. It's where a lot of companies want to be and just people in general. We are ranked 16th in the World Happiness Index in 2023, and also we are still in 2023 ranked 3rd safest country in the world, according to the Global Peace Index. So of course, we're very, very proud of that. Of course, it's a very beautiful country. We all know that. Amazing coastlines, vibrant cities, And I think one of the coolest things about Ireland and Dublin as well is that we have the youngest population in Europe, with a third of the population being under the age of 25. So it really is such a great country for college students and young professionals. And the only other thing I wanted to point out on this slide that I know a lot of questions we've been receiving is if you have a US or Canadian passport, that's all you need to be a student full-time in Ireland. You do not need a visa. In fact, you actually can't apply for a visa if you're a North American passport holder. So you don't have to worry about any of that stressful immigration paperwork ahead of coming over to Dublin or to Ireland for your degree. You will instead register with immigration after arrival, and they usually give you about 3 months to do that. So you do not need to worry about that in advance. Why Dublin specifically? Dublin, for any of you who have been before, County Dublin is actually quite large, but the city center, or what we refer to as in the US, like downtown Dublin, is actually quite a small city center and is very, very walkable, but it's filled with people from every country in the world. So it's very compact, cozy, and bustling, and of course, very, very vibrant. We're regularly voted the friendliest city in Europe by TripAdvisor. So all the cliches really of Irish people are true. They're very, very warm, welcoming, friendly people. The Dublin airport is a wonderful gateway to the rest of Europe and the rest of the world as well. And you'll be able to take a bus straight from UCD's campus to get to the airport and easily travel over to the UK or the rest of the European continent as well. When it comes to the fun that you can have in Dublin, of course, it's a very cultural and fun capital city, year-round calendar of events, culture, and entertainment. And just some examples of culture. These are only just a few examples, of course. There's the St. Patrick's Day Festival, the Dublin Film Festival. The city always comes alive for GAA sports and Ireland rugby. Dublin hosts many major concerts. There's tons of music venues and theaters throughout the city as well. And yeah, last thing, we are regarded as Europe's tech capital and is very much a thriving digital hub. So pretty much across all business and industries, Dublin has pretty much everything that you could possibly be looking for when it comes to connection for your career after your degree. All right, for why UCD, I'd actually like to sit back for a second and ask Neve, a current student at UCD, to talk about her experience and why she chose to study at UCD.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Neve. I am a student in the BSc Business program. I am originally from the New York, New Jersey area. And I guess when I was applying to school, I applied to really diverse ranges of schools in both England, Ireland, and the United States. What set UCD apart for me was both the academic success of the students and then also extracurricular opportunities specifically for international students. So speaking first about like academic opportunity, I knew I was interested in business, and I saw that UCD was ranked in the top 1% worldwide for academics, which really piqued my interest. And then upon like examining the curriculum, I really liked how I could see that it was focused around student success and ensuring that students were really well equipped for life outside of graduation. Going off of that, I also liked the post-grad opportunities. UCD puts in a lot of effort to making sure that alumni still feel connected to UCD. Even here in America, they still have alumni networking events where you can still go back and connect with UCD alumni and also UCD staff, which I really liked. On top of that, as an international student, I feel like UCD really prioritizes us in terms of making sure we feel involved on campus and feel involved in the campus community. They do that through modules like intercultural competencies, but also through on-campus supports like the UCD Global Lounge, where they hold a lot of events, making sure students feel involved, and then also societies like the International Student Society, where they hold balls and they have weekly and like daily activities where you can really feel involved on campus. So I think ultimately the reason I chose UCD was the academic success of the students and how I felt like it strove towards student success, and also the prioritization of international students, which I don't feel like is seen as often in other international colleges.
Thank you so much for sharing these. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you. And the only other thing I'll say, just in terms of why UCD, is just to give you a better idea of our student population and the campus that we have. We do have one of the largest urban campuses in all of Europe. So we do have about 350 acres of land. Kind of sounds like, because of the space that we have, that we might be in the middle of nowhere, but we're not. We're only about 3 miles from the heart of Dublin. So you can get to the city center from UCD's campus by bus in about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic. Very, very easily to get to the heart of Dublin. But you have the advantage of having this amazing central campus space. Most of your walks, like from maybe the residence hall to class or class to class, the longest walk you're going to have is about 20 minutes from point A to point B. But we have a lot of land built around our campus where you can go on like wooded walks and really just kind of feel like you're away from the hustle and bustle of the city, but you're not that far away at all. And our campus community is fantastic, and we are located in a neighborhood that is called Dublin 4, and it really is one of the safest, most welcoming, well-desired neighborhoods in all of Dublin. A little bit more about UCD. So as Neve said, we are in the top 1% of higher education institutions worldwide. We are a large research university as well across all of the degree programs that we offer. 31% of our student population are international students. So this is part of the reason why we're known as Ireland's global university. We do have the largest number of international students on any campus in Ireland. And we have 144 countries represented on campus. The flip side of this is this means that about 69% of our student population are Irish. So it's also a very, very immersive experience to be enrolled as an international student at UCD. We currently have 49 states plus DC and 8 Canadian provinces represented by full degree students on campus. And then, of course, we do have 3D virtual or on-campus tours available for you on our website. And you can always reach out to your regional representative if you want to learn more about that or schedule if you're planning a visit over to campus. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Bridie. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much for that, Chelsea. Well, as I said earlier, I am Bridie Troy. I do work with students from the Midwest, but love talking about UCD with everybody. So I'm just going to get in a little bit about applying. Now, I know that some of you have already applied, which is really great. And for those of you who haven't, applying to UCD is fairly straightforward. You can apply directly at ucd.ie or through the Common Application. If you are applying to medicine, you will apply via Atlantic Bridge. And if you have specific questions about that, feel free to ask us in the breakout rooms. Now, one thing to note is that when applying to UCD, you will apply to your specific major. Now, in this way, we do differ from American institutions. So you don't apply to UCD as a whole, but you would apply to, say, UCD Liberal Arts and Sciences or UCD Business. But you can apply for up to 4 courses for the one-time application fee, and you do have until May 1st to accept your first choice offer. Now, we are test flexible for many programs, but not all. And you can see our entry requirements for each program on our website. We do accept the SAT, the ACT, AP exams, but they're not required for all subjects. Additionally, you can apply with your IB diploma or French baccalaureate. We have a very academically focused application review process. So we look at your unweighted GPA and any test scores applicable. But we do have very transparent entry requirements. So you can see exactly what we're looking for in terms of GPA or test scores at ucd.ie/global. Now, if you are a transfer student or if you already have college credit, you should still apply to UCD as a first-year student. The process of transferring credits over to UCD is a little bit different than you might see in the US, but it's definitely still possible. You would instead just apply to have your credits transferred to UCD after being admitted. Now, applications are now open and they are rolling until the summer. Our priority deadline of December 1st is a really great date to keep in mind, as capacity for certain courses may fill and applications may close for our more competitive courses after this date. Now, December 1st is also a really good deadline to keep in mind for those interested in our competitive scholarships, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a later slide. Great, so I'm guessing that the majority of you are either in step 1 or have not yet started yet, which is totally okay. The first step of the application process is applying to your individual program or programs. Submit your transcripts and your test scores, and these can be unofficial copies at this point, and you will pay the application fee. You should aim to apply to UCD by December 1st and check the status of your application on SysWeb, which is our student application hub. You will receive an email when a decision has been made about your decision or about your application, so you'll be able to track any updates as they come in right from your student portal. Now, if your application is successful, if you are admitted to UCD, you are what we call an offer holder. Now, this means that you have been offered admission to the university for one or more of your programs. If you have applied to more than one program, you will receive a unique decision for each program. And you should check each offer letter for information on your scholarship and any conditions of your offer, as this can vary based on which program you applied to. You might also receive a conditional offer, in which case you should check your offer letter to see if your offer is dependent on a certain AP score or a high school grade or something else. This will all be listed out in your offer letter, and your regional representatives that introduced ourselves earlier today, we would be happy to walk you through that. Now, at this point in the stage, the second step, you should apply for the Global Excellence Scholarship. I hope everybody on this call applies for it. It is 50 to 100% of your tuition for each year of your degree, and it must be applied to by February 1st. Once you receive an offer to UCD, you will also get invitations for virtual and in-person offer holder events for this spring, where you'll be able to meet with other admitted UCD students. Now, this final stage is where we hope you will all end up, is an accepted student. This means that you have accepted one of your offers to UCD by May 1st. We do follow that US national decision deadline. If you are in a clinical program, the deadline might vary. So veterinary medicine or medicine, definitely check your offer letter for a specific deadline. But for the majority of programs, we do have that May 1st decision date. Now, at this point, as an accepted student, you should verify that your scholarship is up to date and it will not expire soon, so that you can accept your offer by the same date. You should send in your final and official transcripts over the summer and any pending test scores that we might be waiting on. You will also pay your deposit to hold your spot at UCD, and you can apply for on-campus housing at this point. Now, as you probably have heard me say 5 times in this slide, most of this information is included in your offer letter. So it's very important that you read the offer letter thoroughly to verify your deadlines, your scholarships, and any conditions of your offer. The offer letter can be accessed in your student account at any time after you have been admitted to UCD. So great. I see that we have a lot of questions about the Global Excellence Scholarship and funding and the pathway, so that's very exciting because I often hear people worrying about the price tag of studying internationally, and honestly, it is pretty price comparable to a US university. Our tuition ranges from around 20,000 euro to 30,000 euro a year, depending on the course. And this tuition fee will be listed in your offer letter when you receive it. The tuition does not increase year on year, so whatever is listed in your offer letter, that is the tuition price that you will be paying every single year of your degree. Now, the cost of living estimates listed here are based on median costs, and they might be higher or lower depending on your own personal budget and preference. The total cost of attendance will likely be between $40,000 to $48,000 per year, depending on your program and your own cost of living budget. If you are on a clinical course such as medicine or veterinary medicine, your fees will be a bit higher. Now, this cost of living graph right here does not include one-off expenses and annual costs such as round-trip flights to Ireland, Irish immigration costs, health insurance, etc. So that is something to factor in as well when you're making up your budget for the year. Great. UCD offers very generous scholarships to our international students. Now, these come in two forms. The International Student Scholarship, which ranges from 10 to 30% of your tuition, and all international applicants are automatically considered for this upon submission of their application to UCD. Now, if you have won the scholarship, you will be notified at the time that you receive an admissions decision from UCD, and it will be listed on your offer letter. We also offer a Global Excellence Scholarship. Now, this scholarship is highly competitive. It is between 50 to 100% of your tuition at UCD. Both of these scholarships are for every year of your degree. They follow you throughout it as long as you maintain a B average. For the Global Excellence Scholarship, you must already have been accepted to UCD to apply. That is where that December 1st priority deadline becomes very important. As the deadline to submit your scholarship application is February 1st, you should apply to UCD by December 1st to ensure a timely decision and time to complete your scholarship application. Now, certain colleges, depending on which program you applied to, they do offer different scholarships, and these will require a separate application, but you will receive more information about this as you are accepted into your programs. So you can view the cost of living calculator on our website, and this is really important to note when applying for things like federal aid. We do accept federal aid. We are on the FAFSA. We accept federal loans, private loans, and the GI Bill for some programs. Ireland currently has one of the lowest inflation rates in Europe, and cost of living in Dublin is pretty comparable to the cost of living in many major US cities. So if you're from a small town, it's probably going to be a little bit higher than what you're expecting, but those of us in, Chicago or Denver, it's pretty comparable. If you do, this more for the parents in the audience, but if you do have a 529 plan or a college savings plan, it may be accepted, but you should double check with your specific college savings plan provider to make sure it can be used internationally. We do get quite a few students that use a 529 plan with us every year. I'll pass it over to Carly now, and I'll start answering some of the questions in the chat you had.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bridie. So again, I'm Carly. I work with students from the Northeast region of the US. So on-campus accommodation, I've already seen a few questions coming in about that in the chat. So we do have on-campus accommodation for just over 4,000 students on campus. It is right on campus, typically about a 10-minute walk or so to the main library on campus, which is called the James Joyce Library. Our accommodation is apartment style. So typically you will have your own bedroom. Sometimes you might have your own bathroom, but not always. And then you're sharing a living area and a kitchen with other students. So there may be 4 to 6 students in an apartment sharing a living area or a kitchen, but that can go up to, I believe, around 14 students in an apartment as well. We do have on-campus residence life, which helps foster a sense of community on campus. And then for those of you that are wondering, we do not have meal plans as you would find in the US, kind of that all-you-can-eat access. We do have one, as we call, catered option on campus, and that has a more limited meal plan. And then other than that, students have kitchen facilities and are preparing their own meals. So we do have a small grocery store on campus, as well as a multitude of cafes and restaurants. And then we also have laundry facilities on campus as well. I'm actually going to pass it over to one of our North American ambassadors, Katie, really quickly to talk about on-campus accommodation.
Hello. I am coming from Merville Accommodation in UCD right now. I have lived on campus in UCD for the 3 years that I've been in UCD. And it's so easy just to walk to campus. The location is amazing. It's a really great opportunity to make friends with your roommates. There's a sense of independence going to the grocery store each week, buying your own food. It really helps with the notorious freshman 15 having control of what you're eating. And then as far as life on campus, UCD campus is full with loads of amenities. You can see the top picture is the recently renovated floor of the James Joyce Library, which has become my new favorite spot to study in. UCD has a gym and a pool that does fun classes. I'm recently in my spinning era. lots of clubs and societies to join to really become a part of. There's loads of fun ones like Food Society, which does lots of food events and partnerships with local chains and whatever in Dublin. There's Trampoline Club. I joined lacrosse as a way to meet other Americans. There's also an American football club. So yeah, UCD just has a lot of amenities to balance the scholastic parts of college life with the social and extracurricular ones.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Katie. One more thing I want to mention about on-campus accommodation is that first-year international undergraduate students are prioritized for on-campus accommodation in their first year. When you accept your offer of admission and pay your deposit, you'll shortly be prompted to book your on-campus accommodation. Our North American undergraduates are guaranteed on-campus housing if you accept by the May 1 deadline, and that's any deposits and deadlines that are required. And again, just note for clinical courses that this deadline may be different. So again, with on campus, as Katie said, there's a lot of different clubs and activities for students to join. One thing I always like to point out is in Ireland, society or SOCs equals clubs, as we would think, and then clubs are sports. So also on campus, we have a swimming pool, sauna, jacuzzi, cinema, dance studio, debating chamber, gym, and drama theater. There's also an on-campus pharmacy in our student and sports center as well. As I already mentioned, we have several restaurants and cafes throughout campus. There's also bookshops, a bike shop, barber shop, post office, bar, grocery store on campus as well. And then I believe Neve was talking about the UCD Global Lounge. It's a center of internationalization on campus. And then also to mention that every new student is assigned a peer mentor. And we also do have academic and student supports available on campus. So I know that that is a lot. So any questions you have, put them into the chat and we'll try to get all of those answered as well. And then we're going to break it up really quick with one more trivia question. So this is going to be multiple choice. So please put in your answer below. You just will need to write A, B, C, or D. So the question is, Croke Park is the largest stadium in Ireland, seating over 82,000 people. Which artist has not performed in Croke Park? A, Taylor Swift, B, Michael Bublé, C, One Direction, or D, Ariana Grande? So again, that's A, Taylor Swift, B, Michael Bublé, C, One Direction, or D, Ariana Grande. All right, so the answer is D, Ariana Grande. She has performed in Dublin, but not at Croke Park. She was at 3 Arena. So I will find who said that first for getting a lot. Taylor Swift has performed at Croke Park once upon a time, but this summer for her Eras tour, she's going to be at the Aviva Stadium. So now I'll pass it over to my colleague Kendall.
Hey everyone, again, I'm Kendall. I work with students in the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast. So we can go ahead and flip to the next slide. Just a quick plug before we start talking a little bit more about academics and get into our breakout sessions. I want to talk about 2 events that are very timely right now. The first is our high school summer program. If you are currently a sophomore or a junior, this could be a great opportunity for you if you are seriously considering going abroad for your full undergraduate degree. It is half Irish history and culture with different workshops with our colleagues on campus across the different colleges to kind of get a wide exposure to the different types of majors available and kind of get a taster for student life. So it's a good opportunity to dip your toe in the water to see if it's something you want to commit to on a long-term basis. Applications for that program opened on our website on November 1st. I do recommend completing your full application by February, the priority deadline. It is a competitive program for entry, so we typically close applications once February hits. The next event that we have coming up, even more timely, is our North American Open House. We can accept and would love to accept visitors to campus at all times of the year, but we do have a special event for North American families who are able to join us over the Thanksgiving holiday. It's a really great opportunity to see campus in action because students will be on campus still in classes for that week while US students are on holiday. So it's a great opportunity to join us. We'll have an optional Thanksgiving dinner for anyone who would like to attend, followed the next day by campus tour, academic workshops, a session for U.S. federal aid, meeting with current students and a student panel, meeting with our support staff, etc. So it's a really awesome opportunity, and you can register for that online. All right, so as Bridie mentioned, you can apply to multiple programs at UCD. In the traditional European fashion, the European model, we would call that direct entry. That's where you pick the specific programs or majors at UCD that you want to apply to, and you would receive a separate decision for each one. This is a great option for students who know what they want to study, or they're trying to decide between a couple of things that they know they want to study. And eventually, by that May 1st deadline, you would choose to accept one particular offer. That's what we call direct entry, and that means you go straight into that subject in year one. So in the chat, Chelsea also mentioned that we don't have general education requirements, which is broadly true across the European model. So that means you start your major or program classes in year one, and you don't have to take anything outside of your program unless you choose to. So it is a more focused degree compared to what you typically get here in the United States. So as I mentioned, you can choose to take some classes outside of your program, and that's what UCD calls the Horizons program, where you can take 1 to 2 elective spaces a year to take classes in any subject you want, as long as your schedule permits. That's great for students who do have a pretty clear understanding of what they want to go into. And you can apply next year. I believe it's 3 programs. This year it's 4 programs. So you can apply up to multiple. But we do have many non-EU students who are not quite sure exactly what they want to do. So we do have a more flexible entry pathway called the Liberal Arts and Sciences program that you can apply to. It is more flexible, and it's set up to reflect more like the American model and system. So it is a 4-year program, and you can take classes across several interests for your first 2 years before you move on and hone in on a particular interest and a particular program in years 2 through 4, depending on which route you want to go. It is the most flexible for entry without SAT or ACT. However, I will say that not every subject is accessible through the Liberal Arts and Sciences program, but a vast majority are. So on the same website that you can see all of the program entry requirements, you can also see which subjects are accessible through that flexible entry pathway. So that website is a one-stop shop for seeing what's test optional, which programs you have to submit test scores for, and which subjects are accessible through that flexible entry route. If they're not accessible through that route, then it is direct entry only. So we have over 70 undergrad degree programs, and these are the overarching areas that all of our programs fall into. In just a couple of slides, we will show you the breakout rooms. We have been joined by current students in programs across this range, as well as colleagues from our colleges as well, who can go into more detail about specific majors and programs that you're curious to learn more about. And then briefly, this is the general structure for our Liberal Arts and Sciences program. You can see several, well, not even several, many different program options and degrees that you can earn through this flexible pathway. And for some subjects, you would start that specific program in year 2. So you have 1 exploratory year, and then some programs allow you 2 exploratory years before you commit to a program. So this should be a helpful outline, but again, you can see the specific programs that are accessible within each of these colleges on our website.